for the opportunity to come talk to in front of you all tonight. Very excited for that. My mom, Nina Halley, lovely mother. She presented the opportunity, and excited to be here. But got the little intro about myself. What I'm here to talk to you guys tonight about is going to be how to age well and thrive as we age. Very important concept in all of our lives. I've had the opportunity to be a personal trainer for over 12 years now. I've had an amazing experience with many, many clients. Something that is an unfortunate percentage that we've learned and seen in today's day and age is that around 20, probably less percent of individuals in the US are moving and regularly exercising, right? Now, exercise doesn't have to be wild, high-end, high-difficulty exercises, but just rather the idea that you're moving and you're challenging the body in ways that will produce a positive benefit to it. It's a very low percentage of the people in our country that are actually regularly doing that. And one of the privileges that I've had working with the clients that I've been able to is to see what the effects are of having regular exercise in their daily routine. And I can't stress enough that anything that you may have heard about going to the gym or walking with friends or just doing these things, even if somebody still has some aches and pains along with their lives and associated with that, the benefits heavily outweigh those little bits of pains that they are working with. So it's an incredibly important thing to do to stay physically active. What you'll see on the sheet that we have there is going to be five pillars of what can help us to age healthily. Now, this is not the end-all of everything that we have to perfect, but this is a very sound foundation to start from in great conversational pieces. So as I've already started to dive into the physical activity part of it, right? So that's a lot of what I do for my work. Like I said, I get to work with a variety of individuals, younger, middle-aged, still pursuing semi-athletic or endeavors or just recreational activities, older individuals just looking to keep up with their activities of daily living, staying outside, gardening, all of the things that interest and excite them, right? Those are the people that I get to work with. And again, we see so many benefits in regards to what the training offers and correlates over to their daily lives. One of the biggest things that you can gain is strength, foundational strength. I do want to separate because, I am a little bit younger and I do like to lift some heavier things, but lifting a very heavy thing is not what it's about. It's about creating strength within the body so that the body is able to perform better for those activities that you need to do and are interested in doing. But then also you are more resilient to the stresses of life. And I think I have a good example to lead off with there. One of my clients, she is 94. I've had the opportunity to work with her for over 11 to 12 years at this point. She started from basically, she was a swimmer when she was young, but she didn't work out since then. You know what I mean? The rest of her life, she did not work out from there. And then she comes to me in her 70s and wants to start exercising. She's made the decision, she is pursuing it. So basically, kind of starting from scratch, from the gym endpoint, we start very simple. She starts to progress to more interesting exercises, something that would be more typical that you'd see, and then eventually we progress to a lot of fun exercises, and she's now 94. She is doing great for herself. She's still gardening, still doing all the things that she wants to do. She does have some typical pains, a little bit of knee pain, a little bit of low back pain, but better than it used to be. and yet again, nothing that is restricting her from doing what she wants to do. Incredibly positive things and positive outcomes. But we can also throw another twist into this type of story. So other benefits that we can achieve from being physically active is that we can increase our bone mineral density. That's something that can help us to prevent osteopenia, osteoporosis. So you are bettering your bony structure, your foundation that is what we are built from, right? Those types of improvements can really help to protect you. Another concept, type 2 muscle fibers. Those muscle fibers are ones that as we age, we do start to lose those unless we are maintaining them through regular exercise. Those are also very protective to our bodies, and I'm going to give a story and an example going back to my client that I was just talking about. Now, we've trained for years. She's done a great job. She's built herself a very strong body. She goes to the bank. She fails to see a leg of a table and trips over it. It's kind of scary, right? Like that's a very concerning thing. So she's walking. I hope the camera can see me. Foot catches, boom, little fall, goes down. The reason that's scary is because that could be what results in a fracture for someone, which you know where that goes. That's a really, really tough thing to recover from for an older individual. However, my client who had been training with me for years, not me, it's her putting in the effort, she fell, people rushed over, frantic, and then she got up. And the result, she had a little bit of bruising, like a couple of bruises. She felt achy, and that went away in about a week and a half. And then she's fine. And she never missed a day of training. Wow, but amazing. I would have said, hey, stay home for a day, but she did not want to. So just really, really cool story, but the positive note is that she didn't fall and have a fracture and get hospitalized. And what happens when we're hospitalized is that everything starts to atrophy. Everything starts to go down. Like, scary stuff, and we don't want that for anyone. But I don't want her to fall. She does a good job. Life comes at you sometimes, right? Things happen in life. But she was able to support herself for that fall. She had the strength and the built-up bone mineral density and resiliency that helped to protect her in that moment. So the conclusion of that story is that if the more we take care of ourselves, the more that we're going to be able to handle those unpredictable moments in life. We can control as much as we try to, and we should. We should take control of what we can. But the things that we can't control, she was ready for. Her body was ready for. Beautiful story. I love it. So, some of the other things about what we can get out of physical activity. If we thought about movement patterns, things we want to be good at, a squat. A squat is something where we could be holding a weight and we're moving down and up. Can I move this table? Do you guys mind if I do that?
No, not at all.
Thank you. I feel like it's just right in the way of what I want to show you. So when we think of a squat, that is holding a weight and we move down, we move up, we have great bend in the lower body, but that's also sitting to a chair and standing up. That's going to the bathroom, right? Like that's such a functional and major part of our lives. So that's something that we want to be good at. We don't want to lose that capacity. One of the bigger sayings that we can go with, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's very true. Our bodies start to atrophy and detrain if we're not stressing the bodies appropriately through these types of movements. So, that being said, if I squat, I have good hip, good knee bend, I can move low through the lower body, and then I come back up. It seems far-fetched, especially if you start getting to the point where some joints are in pain, where things have changed for you. But what I promise you guys is that you can start to reverse that. My client I discussed, she started in her 70s. Things were not perfect, but it got better little by little. And it took time. It was not quick. It took time. But if you stay with it, if you get yourself going and you get moving, really, really great positive things can change and happen for you. Another movement pattern, a deadlift. One of the scariest things for a lot of people, from a gym setting, that the deadlift, I'm lifting a very heavy weight off the floor. That's picking up a couch, a chair, you know what I mean? It's the same pattern for what we do all the time in our daily lives. I dropped a pen, I picked up the pen. You're doing what we call a hinge or a deadlift to pick that item up or to help somebody move a couch, right? So that is why it's such a functional movement pattern. And then you'll see the other ones. We won't go over every example, but you have a push, press, pull, rotation, carrying something, or just simply our gait pattern, our walking ability, right? All of those things we want to excel at as much as possible. And again, as we age, not everything has to be perfect, but it has to be good enough for us. Something that we can work with and make sure that we're living a fruitful, happy life, right? That should be our main focus when we're thinking about physical activity and staying physically active. Wild benefits you can get from it. The things that we can also reduce, so with better strength, with all those things I just said, we reduce the risk of falling, the risk of injury. We can take away fear. I would like, very serious question. How many people in here are kind of just like afraid, like, I don't want to fall, I don't want to go hurt myself, right? Like, fear is real, And like, I don't want you to say to you, don't be afraid. Like, that's not the point. However, people like myself, there's a lot of people, it's not all about me. There's a lot of people that have good information out there and a good approach that are able to help, to say, hey, we don't need to be afraid because we can set a plan. We can have a controlled environment, and we can get somebody to start moving in a very appropriate way for what they are ready for and what they're capable of doing. So we can start to take away some of that fear and make you more confident with how you can move your body in a moment and how you can progressively move better over the course of time. And then you can see and start to reap those same benefits of what physical activity can be. But we're not going to pretend that fear's not there, you know what I mean? It's okay to be afraid, but I do not believe that that should mean avoid. We should not run from being physically active. Well, we should run. Just kidding. No. Yeah, but the point to be made is that it is okay to have some fear. It's okay to be afraid. But approach someone and make a plan. Start to make a plan and start to create some change for yourself, right? We can always have excuses for why not to move. Not today. I'm not feeling my best today. The more excuses that we come up with, the more consecutive days that we go without being physically active. And one of the most important things is consistency. It's not about I had 100% my best day every single day. Some days, for me, I'm putting in like 50% effort. I'm sluggish. I'm not at my best. But important to keep going and keep moving so that you're never losing steam or losing pace. Because the more that we create excuses, the more that we stop ourselves, the more that we become stagnant, all of a sudden that becomes weeks of inactivity. That's hard to start moving from, right? Like that's hard. Who's gone on like an 8-hour car ride and you're just sitting the whole time, and then also you get out of the car, you're like, my back. I get out of the car, my back hurts. Like that's a lot. That's too much. That's too much, right? Same idea applies to being physically active versus being sedentary. It's very important that we do not become too sedentary. Stand, move. Question? No? Okay, sorry. So, the last thing I want to say, this is, in regards to everything, but in regards to physical activity specifically, is that we don't want to pursue having support from others. We want to have support. I lost one. We don't want to pursue sympathy, right? It's nice to have sympathy. It's nice for someone to be charismatic and sympathetic with you. And we should receive that at points in life, but we should not pursue sympathy. We should pursue answers for ourselves. The more answers that we can get for ourselves, the better that we can physically perform and live our lives. And our lives are just better and happier for that. What's more important than just being happy, right? And one of the pillars is being with friends and people, right? Like this community right here, you guys are already doing something positive and fun, right? Additionally, being physically active in that community as well. And that's why it's so great to get together with people like yourselves and have these conversations and going and doing things. But yeah,